Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Dusting Off Warlord, Saga of the Storm, featuring Priam Ironsoul. So one of the viewers asked me if I could kind of do a episode on this guy. I am very very fond of this guy. I think he's one of the most iconic dwarves I think ever made, and I believe I mentioned him in my faction review as just a great starting warlord. I think Memoriam was kind of inspired by this guy. I don't really like his artwork very much. Although this version of the art is way better than the Epic Edition. Good heavens, man. Um, Priam Ironsoul is a 5th level good dwarf cleric. He's got +4, +1, and 16 armor class, so fairly average for a cleric. +8 skill, 3 hit points. He is a Scion. I don't know what that means. I think Valhalla Bispbane was a Scion. I don't know. Each of your ranks with at least one character in front of it holds one more character than usual before becoming illegal. So I did some brainstorming on this after the faction overview. After I was like editing it and I was thinking. So this trait, I don't think this is I'm shooting from the hip here. Okay. Each of your ranks with at least one character in front of it holds one more character than usual before becoming illegal. I don't think that's supposed to be a buff. I don't think that's supposed to help you. What I think that's supposed to do, and this is, again, I'm probably wrong, I don't care. I think the point of that is so that you can't play a strength and have it just run to the front immediately. And I don't even think strength was in the same format as Priam was. But I think that's why. I don't have any other explanation for it. It's such a random ability. So if you don't know what strength is, he's a 4th level Dwarven Fighter. He's a Dwarven Defender, which was an awesome class in D&D. When he's in play, he counts as 2 characters for determining illegal ranks. Spend order, remove up to 2 wounds from strengths. What you could do if Priam did not have this trait is you could play the strength. You can stun him forward, like you'd play him, and he would fall to the front. And then Priam would, after he starts suffering wounds, Priam would heal him and use Priam's other ability, and then strength would ready, and then he could remove 2 wounds from himself. I will not falter. I will not fall. Yeah. It's probably incorrect, but I was thinking you actually can't do that because of this trait. It's so weird. But so the good thing about Priam is this react here. Once per turn, after Priam reduces wounds or removes a wound from a target dwarf, ready the target. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. When you're healing him, it readies him, and it doesn't care if he's stunned or not. At least I'm pretty sure the wording is the same. This is a Hero's Gambit version of this card. I'm pretty sure the Epic Edition version is the same. If not, that sucks, but whatever. This is not a time of men, but of heroes. So yeah, this guy's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of this guy, and I've had quite a few different versions of the deck, but this is what I'm playing right now. So we got Priam Ironsoul, obviously. So kind of the theme to this deck is just really you're trying to outlast your opponent. You're trying to basically not quite stall. That's not quite the right word. It's just you're gonna do what dwarves I think do best. You're gonna plant your shield in the ground. You're gonna steady your feet, and you are not being moved from where you're at. So to that end, towards that hole, we're just gonna outlast you. We're starting 2 copies of Will in rank 2. This is a 2nd level mentalist. He has a spend order, target up to 2 opposing characters up to 2 ranks away. Each target must succeed with a will save, DC 11, or become stunned. I am a big fan of this guy. The DC is not super high, but it is targeting 2 things. And a lot of the characters that are on the front, generally speaking, their skills are not amazing. Even a fighter warlord that's got, +7 skill, he's gonna fail that a pretty decent amount of time. And so yeah, these also have the advantage of being able to kind of stop things like Gene Court Initiate, Gush, anything that would spend, or anything that wants to have some kind of react like that they can't do while they're stunned. It stops that, and also just stuns them so they can't swing on you for like 2 turns usually. Those are pretty awesome. And then in the front, we've got 3 copies of Prophet. Very straightforward. He's a dwarf. He's an assassin. He has stealth +8. He's got +2 attack and 12 armor class. Everything you want in a starting character. So I have done some different versions of the start, but this is what I'm doing right now. So because again, this deck, it's a lot of healing, it's a lot of moving wounds around, and it's a lot of trying to get ready tech or ready triggers for a Priam. We want dwarves who also just have things that interact with them being wounded. We got 3 copies of Corrin Blackstone and 3 copies of Brass Gargoyle. So Corrin Blackstone, he's a barbarian. He's only got 1 strike, but he has 3 hit points, which is a pretty good number of hit points for a 4th level fighter. 15 armor class, power attack +5. Once per turn, if Corrin has one or more wounds, remove a wound from him, perform a melee strike. So as you heal him, it's only once per turn, but it's getting him a second strike, and he's got power attack. His bonus is not super amazing, but it's nice that he has it. Brass Gargoyle is very similar. It's a gargoyle. It's got 2 strikes at +7/+5, only 14 AC, whatever. Also 3 hit points. After a brass gargoyle enters play, inflict a wound on it. And order once per turn, spend one of your clerics, remove a wound from brass gargoyle. Now this doesn't really interact with Priam in any meaningful way, except that Priam's a cleric. Priam is actually, I don't believe the one remove. I think the gargoyle is removing the wound from itself. Just spending the cleric is the cost to it, but pretty awesome. And then this guy is so freaking cool. I'm so glad they brought this guy back. Frenzy, okay? Frenzy first appeared in Call to Arms, right? Yeah. Idea by Devin McMaster. So, Frenzy is so awesome, especially in that Memoriam deck. So, but he's pretty awesome here too. His attacks kind of suck at +4/+2. He's got 15 armor class and 2 hit points. He's a barbarian. React. After Frenzy suffers 1 or more wounds, until end of the turn, he gets +6 attack and inflicts an additional wound on every melee strike. The really important thing about this guy is this is not once per turn. So if he takes a wound and he uses his ability, yeah, if somehow someone tries to kill him and you remove the wound from him from one of many different ways, he can potentially be doing many wounds per strike, depending on how long you can keep him alive. In addition to I do not understand this choice here. Okay, so his original artwork. I mean, actually, you can see it on the screen. It's probably clear. His original artwork. This artwork is so freaking cool. The Devranians had a most appropriate name for him. Lunatic, says Purge. His campaign edition artwork. I'm sorry, but no, this is nowhere near as good. I'm not saying this is bad artwork, but like, look at these 2 cards side by side. I guess the only thing about Frenzy, I mean, I guess since the devs are referring to him, I guess he would be on the surface, but that does not look like an underground location. But so we got 3 copies of Frenzy, and that largely, I believe, constitutes the fighting base of characters here. So, but we got some support. So we've got 3 copies of Limbast and 3 copies of Grim. Limbast she's a very interesting character. She came out of Light and Shadow. Wounded dwarves in this rank have +5 attack. As you can tell, it's not difficult for these guys. You do not need much to buff their attacks for these guys to be hitting things pretty consistently. And adjacent dwarves have defend +7. So a lot of times people, they don't want to punch things like Frenzy unless they're going to one-shot him. But if they don't have ways of doing multiple wounds, Limbast can kind of, I mean, defend +7, and for reasons I cannot explain, Frenzy has +6 skill as a 4th level dwarf fighter. I am not complaining, but okay. So that is giving him defend +13. His odds of being able to redirect chafe strikes to him it's pretty good. So yeah, she's great. She's a cantor. I don't think that matters in this version. Grim, I don't know why he's actually in here. I want to say there was a reason at one point. I think I was playing like barbarian actions, because a lot of these characters, I think most of them, except for the brass gargoyles. Yeah, Frenzy's a barbarian, Blackstone's a barbarian. Huh. Yeah, so Grim is kind of a funny character. He's a 3rd level evil cleric. He is a barbarian, even though he's a cleric. He has defend +5. Grim may play fighter actions. I'm pretty sure I was playing like barbaric rage at one point, and he could play that too, which was hilarious. And he has this react. After a dwarf in this rank suffers a wound, that dwarf gains +3 attack. So yeah, again, it's really not hard for these guys to get some pretty great attack values. And I don't think I play any items to buff them, because I found it wasn't necessary. So, and then we got a copy of Door to the World and a copy of Kiara Undying. Door of the World is just more stall. it's just a free point of healing every turn. It's level 3 siege, unique. May not perform actions other than the following. Spend react before target dwarf suffers wounds. Reduce the number of wounds by 1. It's very straightforward. It's very simple. Also, I play this in a lot of dwarf decks. I really like just the idea of this card. Like, look at the art on that. It's like the dwarves having been underground for so long. Like, there is a door that's like, it's like the world is behind. It's just funny, like the idea that and I don't know how true this is to the fluff, but like there's dwarves that are just sitting there next to this thing, like we must never go back up to the surface or whatever. I don't know. And then Kiara Undying, very simple character. Remove Kiara from the game, ready all of your dwarves in the rank he was in. That's just round 2 for everybody. It's great, at least everybody in that rank. And this is one of the reasons why Priam being able to use his ability on stun characters is interesting, is you can stun this guy to the front. He does draw fire, because people, you don't want that react going, or that order going off. But Priam can heal him, and it readies him. He can punch, and then remove himself from the game and give everybody their second turn. So, pretty awesome. Our king would forsake his kingdom to save it. Insanity, says Gate. Yeah, I do not have copies of Gate in here, although I think he's an interesting character. And then just rounding out, we have 2 5th level clerics. We have a copy of Justice and a copy of Grimmer. So Justice, what set is this? Plane of Secrets. Okay, so Justice is unique. She has Defend +3. I don't think that's ever mattered. The Medicine does matter. Medicine +5. Order of Savannah. React once per turn. After a target opposing character kills one of your characters, the target must succeed with a magic save, DC 16 or stun. It's just more ways to slow them down and try to let you win the long game. The fact that she's level 5 is really the only reason she's in here. The ability, the React is nice. It's not a bad React at all. There's no range limit on it, and yeah, DC 16 is fairly high. Again, +7 skill fighter. He fails this about half the time, so that's freaking awesome. Grimmer is a kind of a newer addition to this. Out of Shattered Empires, he's a seer, doesn't matter, and he's unique. Spend React once per turn before target non-stun dwarf suffers wounds from an action by an opposing character. Ready the target or the target performs a melee strike. So you combine this with Frenzy, and that is, that's pretty awesome. He performs a melee strike, and he's reacted after that, so it's a melee strike that hurts. So but mostly he's mostly in here. I'm not saying the ability's bad because it's not. He's mostly just in here because he's level 5. And the reason I want all these level 5 characters is because we are running 3 copies of Benedictus armor. This is a very interesting armor. It's classless. It gives you actually pretty good stats, +3 attack and +3 armor class. The armor class is really what I'm interested in, but the +3 attack, I mean, I'll take it. It's also classless, so any of the characters in the deck can equip this. Order, once per turn, spend a level 5 or greater cleric in your army, ready this character. So, again, you throw this on like a Frenzy, you throw it on any of the fighting guys. It's usually Frenzy, but any of the fighting guys can make use of it. And you have Priam who could play it, or who could trigger the once per turn ability, and maybe that's why I had the Grims in here, just because I don't necessarily need their abilities, and I think they helped with that. Yeah, and it readies you. It's awesome. So yeah, I like this card. I keep trying to fit it into some decks. Really, the big problem is I found that a lot of the times, if your Warlord itself is not a cleric, getting level 5 clerics into play, it can be kind of annoying sometimes. It can be kind of inconsistent. So whatever. For some more rating, we've got Staff of Kizazi. Very classic staff. It's a shield order. If an opponent has 1 or more cards in hand and Staff of Kizazi has less than 4 charges, put a charge on Staff of Kizazi. So that's a lot of times what happens is, like, it's kind of nearing the end of the turn, and you don't, generally speaking, I think, want to spend orders putting charges on this. You usually have something better to do. But at the end of the turn, if they have something that they can't play, or for whatever reason they're not playing it, you just load the staff up with charges. Order once per turn, spend the staff, and remove 4 charges. Ready target lower level character, which, again, all the fighting characters in the deck are lower level. This almost always goes on to Priam. I guess you supposedly could put this on someone else. I don't know why I would, but so that's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's more readying. It's dwarf readying. I love that. Then we have a copy of Kor's Banner. This is very similar to Door to the World. It's just you have to make a check. Charisma +5. Now, this is interesting. Charisma now. Now that Charisma is 2 ranks away, someone pointed that out to me, that I caught the change in it, that it's giving you can give someone a disadvantage with that. But I didn't catch the range change. So that's pretty awesome that Priam, if he's sitting in rank 3, he can still target one of your characters in rank 1. React before one of your dwarves is wounded, spend the banner, make a charisma check, DC 20. If successful, reduce the wounds by 1. With Priam, you're needing 7s for that, so that's completely acceptable. And then we got a copy of Corvus out of what is this? I'm not sure what's that. Ancient. I think it's Ancient Lore. One of the 4th edition sets. I believe that's Ruth Gwendolyn on that too. 4th edition did that. They recycled a lot of artwork. So, Corvus may remain spent during the ready phase. It is a familiar. Spend Corvus, target another character while Corvus remains spent. The target gains defend, magic resistance, power attack, and repost +6. That's a lot of different things going off right there. So, yeah, you just target one of your guys and you can repost with them. I mean, Frenzies with repost is awesome. Frenzies with magic resistance is also awesome. And again, he only needs 8s to make those. So, Frenzy after he uses React and he makes a power attack check, that kills a lot of stuff. So, that's pretty awesome. And then just some random healing stuff. We've got 1 copy of Treasury Kit and 2 copies of Tears of the Storm. So a Treasury Kit is giving you medicine. And it's also basically letting you use medicine twice. That's not exactly, I think that's what it used to say. I think the original version was just like spend order, use the medicine feat. Now it's actually, that's what this copy says. This is from campaign edition. Now I believe it's just spend order, make a medicine check DC 20 to remove a wound from this character or a character in this rank. I can't remember. I think it's remove a wound from a character in this rank because that's what medicine does. So we're playing this. This is going on Priam because a lot of times Priam is, even though he's in the back, he's soaking up wounds for people. Tears of the Storm is somewhat similar. It's spend order, target a character in play, and remove one wound from that character. Now, this is something for your higher level clerics to do, like if they have nothing better to do. There's no range limitation on it, so that's pretty nice. And it's not unique, so I'm playing 2 of them. If Treasury Kit weren't unique, I still think I would only play 1 because I'm pretty sure it only ever goes on Priam. So yeah, it's some healing. It's someone, again, it's just the idea is just to outlast your opponent. Just try to have your dwarves, soaking up damage and taking wounds off of them. So as far as actions go, we have the only fighter actions in this deck are 3 copies of I Have Your Back. This is because, again, and it's mostly because of Frenzy, because people don't want to punch him, because they don't want to make him angry. So Frenzy can play I Have Your Back, get his ability to trigger, say it's some stupid attack that doesn't matter, but they don't want to throw it on him because, yeah, you don't want to do that. Frenzy goes, I'll take the hit, and then they hit him, and then he gets freaking pissed, and oh, it's good times. So I do like that. So we got those. We got 3 Mass Blessings. As odd as it sounds, this is the card that I would probably be most inclined to drop in this deck. I don't really think it needs it. I kind of usually just put these into a lot of my cleric decks out of habit, but I almost feel like these are overkill in here. I don't know. It's very simple. Order, target a rank in your formation. While in that rank, all characters gain +X attack and armor class, where X is this cleric's level until end of the turn. I believe these have actually been reprinted a bunch of times. These were in the 10th anniversary set. I believe these were in the Box of Greed too. So it helps that they're making some cards like that more readily available, because these are staples in a lot of cleric decks. So okay, so that's some of the buffing. So then we have healing, because that's what this deck does. We've got 3 copies of Sacrifice and 3 copies of Soothing Waters. Sacrifice is a level 1 cleric action. Oh, these are old ones. Oh, these were Days of Glory. So the old Sacrifice says, play after a character in this cleric's army suffers 1 or more wounds. The cleric suffers the wounds instead. It doesn't do that anymore, which is unfortunate. But now what Sacrifice says is, I believe it says after one of your characters suffers wounds, reduce the wounds by 1, and the cleric casting this suffers a wound. So this is basically one of the reasons why I play a Treasury Kit, because I'm going to redirect the wounds over to Priam, and I need a way to heal himself in case he draws too many of these. Soothing Waters is very similar. Before target, actually, again, I think these got reprinted in the Box of Greed too, because I think this is Frost now. I don't think the wording on this has changed. At least functionally speaking, I don't think this works any differently. React, before target character you control suffers wounds, inflict a wound on a different character, reduce the target's wounds by 1. Again, this is a way to, 1, heal your characters, but 2, get wounds onto Frenzy. And then this other part, react, after this character performs a water action, target up to 3 characters you control, remove a wound from each target. I don't really think I've done that too many times in this deck. I can't remember if Sacrifice is a water action or not now, or a frost action as they call it. I actually did not like that. I am okay with all the what would you even call it, like energy types, like damage types. I did not see the need to move from water to frost. That's because water I can see being the healing thing. I can't see frost as being the healing thing, because frost is usually bad. Whatever. A miracle of our ancient king, says Mary S. Ank. If you don't have those, or you don't, because for a while they should be way easier to get now, because they're, and I'm pretty sure those are in the Box of Greed. But you can replace those with Scourge of Dithanis, and it largely does the same thing. Not exactly, but it mostly does the same thing. So, and these are, I think, way easier to get. At least I think they are. Then we've got 3 copies of Fulfill Destiny and a single copy of Minor Miracle. So Fulfill Destiny is one of the strongest healing things in the game, mostly because it doesn't require you to spend, and it stops every wound you're taking. It's not just stopping 1 like Sacrifice. So you choose an opposing player who draws a card. That does kind of suck, but whatever. Yeah, these are freaking great. When someone is prepared to chop through healing, they're usually not prepared to chop through this. They have to be able to have something that says, their wounds can't be reduced. Something like, I think it's Hand Axe, something like that they'd have to be doing. And yeah, Fulfill Destiny outside of that, keep something alive. And then Minor Miracle, this is just yeah, it's level 5. Each of your characters may only perform one card named Minor Miracle each turn. Before a target character suffers wounds, reduce the wounds by 1. So you can conceivably play more than those. I don't, because there is just a law of reality, as far as I can tell, that says if I am playing more than one of those, all 3 of them are in my opening hand on turn 1. It always happens. It will never not happen. So if I had something to do with it, like if I had my buddy Clint, I believe he plays 3 of those in his Kilkameth, because he could turn them into Forests of Bone. I don't have that luxury here, so yeah, we're not going to do that. I mean, you do have a couple other level 5s, but the consistency, it's like, this is the problem, is because I'm going to draw 3 of them in my opening hand, that only leaves 2 other card slots for one of the level 5 clerics. And so, yeah, that sounds like an awful opening hand anyway, so I don't like that. And no, I'm not exaggerating when I say that. It always happens. It has never not happened, and it will never not happen. So, yeah. Maybe it's a good problem, I don't know. So that is the current build that I'm doing for Priam Ironsoul. But I've had so many different incarnations of this guy. I had one where it was basically, I think I was actually using that rank stabilization effect that he has, and I think I was just flooding the deck with level 5s. It was like level 5 dwarves, level 5 mercenaries. His react doesn't work on mercenaries, but it was just level 5 span. It was almost like a dwarf version of how I play Robert. So but there are plenty of other things you can do. Most notably, I believe for the longest time, I believe I was starting Wall as my starting level 2, and I believe, still playing the Prophets. But having a level 2 cleric in play at the start, it does open up the ability to have someone able to cast Reflect that is not Priam. So I do kind of like that. But again, I like the Wills too. And again, in terms of stalling, I mean, I guess Reflect is doing a large amount of what this deck wants to do. It's healing. It's also potentially damaging. I don't know. You can also now, again, a lot of people, they do not want to be punching frenzies. So one of the characters you can replace him with, it's probably worse, but it is an option, is Rampage. Rampage is extremely similar to Frenzy. He's got very similar stats. His skill is lower. His armor class is lower. That's fine. He's got an order. He's still a barbarian. His skill is lower, yeah. Once per turn, remove a dwarf in your discard pile from the game until the end of the turn. Rampage gets +5 attack and inflicts an additional wound when he hits with a melee strike. So, assuming his ability is going off once, which even though you have all this healing and all this protection, you're going to lose guys. It's just going to happen. Rampage can use his order, and he doesn't need your opponent to punch him. You don't need to get cute and like move wounds onto the frenzies or make defense checks to get them to go off. The main reason I don't like this is, one, again, Frenzy, the fact that it's not once per turn means you can sometimes Frenzy he can go nuts. But the other one is Rampage has to spend in order to do this, and it is possible, and I believe I did play this guy at one point, it is possible, though somewhat unlikely, that in between him using his order and him spending to attack, he does get killed by something, and that is unfortunate. But I mean, the deck has so much healing, I'm not sure that's really a problem. So I mean, you can do that. You can, again, potentially drop something for him, because I think he's a pretty solid character. And if you don't need the extra attack and extra wound, I mean, there's nothing wrong with just spending him to attack normally. So, but one of the things I was actually doing for a while is my character base was radically different, and I had way more clerics. I believe this was almost like my Clerics Guild deck, even though I don't have the Clerics Guild ability. I was playing a Brawl, Surge, and Blessed instead of all the other fighting characters. These are all basically either fighter clerics, like multi-class fighter clerics, or they are clerics that are like battle clerics. And one of the reasons I liked this, and I still like this idea, is these give you access to some very strange cards in this game that like nobody really plays, because like nobody really plays them. So what do we have here? We have Atone for Your Sins. This is kind of like Sacrifice. It's higher level. But this has to be a character within 1 rank, and again, I don't really want Priam moving anywhere. So you have that. You have a Hero's Fall. After one of your characters dies, all your characters have an attack and armor class bonus equal to the level of the dead character, while in the rank the character was in. I mean, I guess you can still play this. I don't know. I can't remember why I dropped this, but Final Prayer, which I think is such a cool card, and I think it kind of sucks, but it's cool, and I like the flavor text. It's level 1. React before this character is killed. Target another character within 1 rank. Remove 1 wound from the target, and the target gains attack and armor class equal to the caster's level. This is only level 1, so in theory your level 1s can play this. The problem is basically this is just giving them +1 attack and armor class, removing a wound, then that's not very impressive. It's way different when the character is level 3 or level 4. So, what else do we have in here? I think Final Blessing is still perfectly playable. It's especially nice if they thought they were going to kill the Frenzy. Like, they actually thought that, like, they were punching with, like, Krun or something like that. And, like, this will just one-shot him, and I don't have the proper healing. You Final Blessing, and that's, like, it's trolly, and the other effect is really, really good, too. I don't know why I have Holy Might here. I don't think I've ever played this. I think you can play this. I'm not playing it now. I don't know why that's there. You can play Take Me. This is basically a cleric's version of I Have Your Back, but it doesn't need to be in the same rank. So you can use this as kind of a almost like another sacrifice to remove wounds onto Priam where he can medicine them off. You can play Sigil of Salvation. I do like this card as well. Attach it to a character. While attached, the character has the ability React before suffering wounds, discard the sigil. The character inflicting the wounds must succeed with the magic save DC 17, or the wounds are reduced to 0 and the character suffers an equal number of wounds. This is kind of like a better and worse version of Reflect. So this is done at order speed, which kind of sucks. The save DC is set at 17. But this reduces the wounds to 0, and they suffer the number of wounds that they would have done to you. So again, if it's like Krun, and he's like, Krun does not like seeing this, I think. But I think I just didn't like that this was a spend order in this version. I think with the other one, I have other level 4 characters. You know, Surge is level 4, Blessed is level 4, so they could play this. But I think this was. I think you can play Karmic Wheel too, because I think everybody except for the what's his name, the Barbarian. I just looked at him and I can't remember. Grim. I was going to say Dread, but no, Dread's the guy throwing knives. You can play Karmic Wheel, and again, it works. It's order. It's only removing 1 wound, but whatever. And then also, I was playing Mentorship, and I did get some use out of this, even though Priam is not a Cantor. I'm pretty sure I just dropped this for the same reason. It was a spend order that I didn't want to have to use. This basically levels somebody up. It permanently gives them +1 level, +3 attack, +3 AC, +2 skill, and +1 hit point. Really better off of a Cantor most of the time because it's giving them that extra strike. But I think it's definitely usable. I'm just not using it now. So yeah, I am a big fan of this guy. And again, I've played him as a level 5 farmer. I've played this version. I played the Barbarian version with all the Barbarian actions with some healing on top. So not too much more to say about him. So yeah, that is my take on Priam Ironsoul. Again, very classic, very iconic dwarf. One of the most dwarfy dwarfs that has ever been. So yeah, if anybody else has any warlords they want me to cover, drop a comment down below, and if I can oblige you, I will. Thanks for checking us out. God bless you, and I'll catch you in the next video.